My first memory of football as a child would probably be the posters that were on my bedroom wall. As a young kid, I didn't take much of an interest in football. I was more into music, but my brother was. We shared a bedroom in Upper Gilmer Place where we lived, and I just remember his side of the wall being covered in Hibs posters, notably the 1972 League and Driver Cup win. The Evening News put out this poster celebrating the win with paintings and pictures of all the players and Eddie Turnbull. So I kind of grew up with all these faces, and I kind of, I could have rattled off the likes of your Pat Stanton, your Brownlees, your Croplys, and kind of knew who they were, although I'd never ever seen them in action. But they're always talked about in the house between my dad and my brother. So that was probably my earliest introduction and recollection of football. The first time I actually saw it for real, other than playing at a park or whatever, was it was one night. I think I must have been about 7 or 8 year old, and I was in the house, and my brother was out playing, and he was meant to come back because my dad was going to take him to a match, but John never came back, and he stayed out late. So my dad went, right, he says, you're going to come to the match with me. No, he says, you're going to come out with me. I'm thinking, oh, this is great. Me and my dad are going to go somewhere. In my head, I thought I was going to go and see the Tower of Inferno at the ABC, and as it turned out, we drove past the ABC and made our way down to Easter Road and watched a reserve match between Hibs and Hearts. And I was in tears because I didn't want to go to the football. I wanted to go and see Tower of Inferno. My brother was throwing a hissy fit back at the house because he wanted to go to the football and was getting kept in. And I just remember being bored out my nut when I first watched the game. It was a reserve match and it wasn't particularly exciting. And that's all I really sort of remember was the first time I saw a sort of real football game at Easter Road. And it wasn't until many years later that I came back. I kind of missed the whole thing throughout the whole 80s. I was DJing and I was into my music way more than I was into football. I was into Scotland. I used to watch all the Scotland games. I never really started coming to Easter Road properly until 1990, something like that. I don't remember the exact game. I remember the circumstances around it. I'd been invited to come to Easter Road because I'd started working at Radio 4 at that point, and they had passes for the Weir Toyota Lounge in the main stand, which is kind of just down from where we are right now. And I remember thinking, well, I've never been to a game for years, but I thought, I tell you what, my dad would love that. And I'd been working away in the borders for about 2 or 3 years up until that point, and I kind of saw it as a way of getting to spend time with my dad, because I was growing up. I'd moved out of the house, and I had other social interests, and I had my own flat, and I saw this as an opportunity to spend a bit of time with my dad on a Saturday afternoon. So I went, look, Dad, I says, look, I've got these passes, let's go to the watch, just take you to Easter Road for the day. And literally, and that's why I perhaps don't remember the first game, but I think it was by the second match here at Easter Road, I was completely hooked. And I remember going, what have I missed out on? I can't believe that I've let this pass me by for so long. And I was right into it. And we hadn't, we'd only just survived at that point. The whole hands-off Hibs thing and been and gone and done. Hibs were safe. So Tom Farmer had arrived. And so, the future was we were in a bad place at that time. But that's kind of the time when I started coming. Family connection with Hibs is long standing. My granddad lived in Bothwell Street, which is across the other side of the bridge as you come Easter Road, and he went to the school, which is there, when it was a school back in the day. So he grew up literally in the shadows of Easter Road. And then when my dad came along, he did what his dad did and supported the Hibs, and that wasn't up for question. And then obviously when we came along, then it's the family way. The Stotts support the Hibs, and the funny thing was, my dad, although my granddad grew up here, literally a stone's throw from Easter Road, my dad grew up in Gorgie, in Dalry, in Downfield Place. So he was surrounded by Hearts fans, but because there was this family connection, Hibs was his team right from the very start. And you'll hear men of a certain generation talking about the old days of going to Hibs and Hearts games with their pals, and they would go to Tynecastle one week, the Hibs fans with their Hearts pals, and then they'd go to Easter Road the next week to watch it, and they would do that en masse and as a group. And that's certainly what my dad did. And he was probably a lone Hibs fan in a sea of Jambos, but he remained true to that. And I think what that's also given us is and I've got a lot of pals that are Hearts fans as well, and it's that relationship and that rivalry and that friendly banter that we all enjoy so much. And I've kind of grown up with that as well, because a lot of my dad's pals, as I say, were Hearts fans. But Dad is massive with regards to me supporting Hibs and coming Hibs. He's the reason I came in the first place, and he's the reason I still come, because 27 years on from when I first came to Easter Road with my dad, we still come to the home games whenever I can. And so yeah, I cannot imagine not doing Hibs were it not for my dad.